And welcome back to Comic Frontline, everybody. I am Brant Fowler, aka the Gonzogoose, back with you for another review. This time we are looking at Black Bolt #1 from Marvel Comics. This is written by Saladin Ahmed, who is an author. He's written several novels, and I think this is his first foray into comics. Art by Christian Ward, whose art I am not familiar with. So lots of variant covers and all that stuff, so we won't get into that. Letters by VC's Clayton Cowles. So this series kind of fills in the blanks of what's been going on in the Inhumans with Royals. I couldn't think of the name of the book, where we found out recently that Black Bolt is not with them. It's actually Maximus, and we don't know why. We didn't know where Black Bolt actually was, and this book does answer that question. It gives you a very nice recap story so far thing at the very beginning. It tells you both about the Inhumans and about Black Bolt, what's happened to him in recent memory. So if you're at all lost, with this character, it catches you up to speed pretty nicely. So I'll say that about it. Going into the book, we learn that Black Bolt is being held captive. He's chained and bound, which we're told a few times, and in this prison where he doesn't know where he's at, and this voice is barreling through the place saying confess your crimes, repent your crimes, that kind of thing. And he has to break free, but he's bound. He's got a muzzle on his face. And so we're watching his journey trying to escape this unknown prison. As it turns out, and this is just a tiny minor spoiler, it happens in the first few pages. I think it's revealed, so it may even be in the previews. I'm not sure. But we learn that this is the prison where they were going to try to put Maximus, and he remembers that Maximus switched places with him. And so that's revealed as to why, Black Bolt is not with the Royals. And so he finds himself in this prison with a bunch of other people and ends up fighting one of them, and the mask gets damaged. So is he going to be able to use his powers now? I'm not going to spoil that for you because it just came out. But it's interesting what happens from that point forward. Now, the way the story is told, obviously Black Bolt can't speak, both because he has a muzzle and also because if he speaks, there's he shatters mountains, as they say. And the other characters that show up in the book don't show up towards the end of the book. So for most of the book, you're getting narration, and it's an omniscient kind of narration. It's somebody that is watching these events unfold and kind of telling that story in a poetic way, which, as I understand, this author is also a poet, so it kind of fits, his style here. And the character of Black Bolt is kind of a poetic character, so that makes sense. So it was an interesting story leading up to when he interacts with others and realizes there's a lot of other people caught in this prison. Then what happens to him after that is interesting because we don't know exactly what happened to him or who did it to him. And it's kind of hard to talk about it without spoiling it. So we'll definitely, maybe, I don't know if it's going to be in anybody's lists come Tuesday, but maybe we'll talk about it more there. But I don't know, it was interesting the way the story was told, with the narration and kind of, like I said, it repeated. He was bound and chained and couldn't speak and had this muzzle, and then it kind of progresses. It tells you the same thing but in different ways as it progresses and adds things to it, like this is what is Blackagar Bolt Khan. He's Black Bolt, he's a king, but he's waking in filth, and that kind of thing. Art wise, it's okay, it's not my style of art. It's not my preference for a superhero book. It is very artsy. It's very unique. It's almost Andy Warhol-ish in the style. I looked up some of Christian Ward's other art, and it does seem like he kind of likes that style. It's a very kind of bold kaleidoscope of colors, but the way that it's drawn, it's flat, yet some of the characters or some of the figure work is not as flat, so it's almost like figures walking around in a cartoon world. And even elements of their costumes, like Black Bolt's tuning fork thing on his mask, it feels flat. Whereas, and flat and cartoony, and sometimes the art is not as polished as some of the figure work. Some of the details are not as polished as some of the figure work. So it's this weird contrast. And I guess it's supposed to be that way because of the way this prison is designed. It's kind of outside of, so we don't know exactly where it's at, but it's this weird unknown hidden prison, and I guess it's supposed to feel kind of like that, like you're out of your body, out of your mind, kind of psychedelic kind of thing, and you do get that from it. It didn't jive with me personally. I'm gonna give this another issue, but the art I have issues with. It's not my preference, not my style. You know, some of the fighting scenes were pretty decent. Some of the close-ups were nice, and you know, it was a very interesting design of this prison in this psychedelic fashion, and the design of the villain, whoever this is, the jailer, as you will, was interesting. I kind of like the design of that character. So I don't know, I'm kind of torn on this book. The writing was okay. It didn't totally grab me in because it's like, okay, well, he's in a prison somewhere and something happens to him and you don't know what. But the interesting thing about it is, how is he going to get out of this to rejoin the royal family? And I'm interested in that story. Not so much in a prison yard story, which is basically what this is. A prison yard with an evil warden. That's basically what this is, only with sci-fi and superhero elements added to it. So yeah, I'll try another issue. The art it's not grabbing me. It's not doing it for me. Personally, you guys may love this art. I don't. So I have to take marks down for the art style for me. And again, the story, it's interesting, but at the same time, not quite what I expected and quite what I wanted. So for me, I'm going to give this a solid 3 stars. And like I said, I'll try another issue and see if that one kind of expands my appreciation for it. So we shall see. And if we end up talking about this on Tuesday, you'll hear more thoughts about it. I really honestly am not sure if it's going to end up in any list, and if it does, where top or bottom it's going to end up. So it'll be interesting to see. So anyway, that's my review. 3 stars for Black Bolt #1, and hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below and let me know what you thought of the issue. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Comic Frontline and check out all the other reviews and content here. And you can also find a few reviews over on my channel, youtube.com/BrentFowler. I'm reviewing I'm reviewing various books here and there, so you can check that out and all the other content I do over there. You can also find me on lasttimberpress.com, zone4podcast.com, youtube.com/whatthecard, and of course right here on Comic Frontline. So until next time, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.